Okay, everybody, it's time to get into socks. And I have quite a bit of socks that I've been saving up for that I bought over time, waiting for good deals and whatnot. And I'm kind of going to go in order here. It's a various smattering of socks from lightweight, midweights, heavyweights. And I'm going to say something about Karl Morawski convinced me that wool is the best way to go, or at least some sort of wool blend. So these are just the things that I've gotten, and I'll lay out my favorites here at the end. The first thing I want to do is show you that the one thing I've had most of my life are cotton socks. They suck. So here I have Dickies. And the Dickies are basically a blend. They're for wicking sweat. There's a special technology in them. There was a good deal on Dickies, so I kind of wrote down what these consist of. So these Dickies are 73% cotton, 25% polyester, and 2% spandex. Okay, and they are imported. These are from Pakistan. These are just regular white socks that I use for just knocking around. I don't really use these for work. I just use these for knocking around and whatnot. I don't use them in the shop. I don't use them when I'm doing any carpentry, stuff like that. But they are light and they do wick sweat somewhat. But they are, you know, they have a heavy, they're not as cotton as some of the other stuff, and some of the technology in it does wick sweat. There's one other Dickies that I do not have. I couldn't find it, but I know I have it, and it's a Dickies Over the Calf light compression sock. Those are made in, of course, China. 86% polyester, 13% nylon, and 1% spandex. I'll have a link to all of these in the description that I can find. I definitely have a link to these because I know when I got them, and I got these off Amazon. Now the next thing I'm going to talk about are the Carhartt. I got a lot of Carhartt stuff. Carhartt is basically, look, there's some stuff you're going to find that's made or imported. For example, these synthetic blend socks that are made in China. Pretty sure those are these, although they kind of feel heavyweight to me. But these are made in China. They're a midweight steel toe boot sock. So, you know, I have some boots, and I hate it when they rub on my calf. And, you know, you want to keep the socks up anyway because they'll fall down in the boot, you know, and you have to dig them out and pull them up. So I will say one thing about these. They are 82% acrylic, 16% polyester, and 2% elastane. They're, again, fast. They're supposed to wick sweat, and I can tell you that they definitely do. I use these with boots because these are a boot sock, but they also, if you have a boot that's a little bit loose or whatnot, these things definitely fill up the foot. I will say that. Now there's a couple of more here. I have a few Carhartts that I bought when they were going on sale. Now again, Carhartt, you have to really kind of pay attention to what's going on. These are made in China, okay? These are made in the USA. These are the heavyweight wool blend, once again, boot sock. And they are 83% wool, 13% nylon, and they say 3% other fibers, whatever that means, and 1% elastane. These are great. Let me just say this. If I had my preference from the sort of synthetic to the wool of some sort, go with the wool. I mean, you are never going to be sorry if you go with wool. Some of this stuff here is cheaper. The wool is more expensive. But I'm going to tell you now, Karl Morawski is absolutely correct about this stuff. Go wool or go home. I mean, it will change your life. So that's part of the reason why I wanted to do this a sock video, a workwear sock video, is because I do really believe, and now I totally shop for nothing but a sort of wool sock, wool blended sock, and you can't go wrong with them. So this Carhartt one though, this wool blend boot sock is made in the USA. Now there is also a midweight synthetic wool blend boot sock from Carhartt. These are made in Turkey. Okay, these are 39% wool, 26% I can't pronounce this, polypropyl. Okay, 39% wool, 26% polypropyl, 19% Cordura nylon, and then 13% nylon with 3% elastane. So there's a lot of nylon in these, again, but it is a wool blend, okay? Made in Turkey, Carhartt, and they are the synthetic blend socks, midweight synthetic wool blend boot sock. Next up are the heavyweight synthetic wool blend boot sock, again, that I have, again, made in China. These are 53% polyester, 32% wool, 11% nylon, 2% elastane, and then another 2% other fibers. Look, all of these, the Carhartt stuff is pretty, what I would call is pretty, you know, it's good quality. If you can find it on sale and you can't afford some of the stuff that I'm going to get to here in a minute, then, you know, look, Carhartt's a good choice, and they have decent boot socks, I will say that. Whenever I get a chance, if I'm buying anything Carhartt, I try to stay with Made in the USA, because it's one of the few places in socks that you can actually find stuff completely made here. Now, they may import yarn. I think there's one of these socks that does that, actually, and it might say it on the label here, which if I pick it out, I'll find it and note it. But you can still find socks made in the USA. And so the last, I think this is the last Carhartt one I have. This is a force grid midweight synthetic merino wool blend. This is a short crew sock. So if I'm wearing like a boot, a short boot or whatnot, I'll put these on instead of the boot socks. The boot socks will go with like my Muck water boots or my cowboy boots with the steel toe, something like that. I'll wear those boot socks every single time. But if I'm doing something with just like a regular boot, Red Wing, I have some cat steel toe boots that come up, you know, they come up like just 6 inches to the above the ankle, that type of stuff, then yeah, I'm going to use something like this, especially if it's a midweight synthetic or a lightweight synthetic. I'm going to use a crew sock all the time with those boots. I'm not going to use a boot sock. Okay. Wick Sweat. This is in the force category. Okay. And it is, where is this made? For some reason, this is made in Italy. Go figure. Thank you very much, Prime Minister Maloney. So the force sock is kind of hard to read, but it's 57% nylon. Is that right? Yeah. 57% nylon, 40% wool, and then the rest, 3%, is elastane. These are, you know, pretty much for wicking sweat, fighting odor. All of these, by the way, all of them make that claim to wick sweat and fight odor. However, there is something in wool that just does it naturally. There doesn't need to be anything added special to the fabric that will wick the sweat from you. Wool just does it. And if you think that wool in summer is not a smart thing to do, it is. If it's cold out, go with a mid to heavyweight wool sock. If it's really cold, definitely a heavyweight wool sock. But, you know, look, in the summertime, spring, humidity, hot weather, go with a lightweight boot sock or something like that. That is wool. It works. I mean, you really have to try it for yourself to just be amazed by how well wool works just naturally. Okay, next. You know what? I've got some Wranglers, and these are made in Pakistan. These are a wool blend work sock, so these are not boot socks. They're pretty much they do come up a little higher than a crew, I would say. So on a pair of ropers, for example, if anybody knows what ropers are, they are a shorter cowboy boot. I couldn't wear these in the normal cowboy boot, but man, for ropers, these work really well. So what are these? These are 60% polyester, 25% cotton, 11% wool, and 4% spandex. I have worn these now, a few of these for a while, and they're holding up pretty well, and I like them. The price for some of the Wrangler stuff is really good. If you can find it, Tractor Supply or on their website, even sometimes on Amazon, you can get a really good deal on Wrangler socks. But at least this pair of socks is not really heavy on the wool. However, the wool blend, it works decently, I will say. Next, well, you know, I went on my Duluth binge when I was getting underwear, and they had a screaming deal on socks, which I kind of wanted some lighter ones because most of the stuff I got here are the Wrangler. They're pretty heavy midweights, or the heavy and midweight Carhartt boot socks. You know, for something summer wise, I wanted something light that could be worn with my boots. I know these are kind of funky stylish, but they were on sale, $9.97, and so these are a crew sock. And they do pretty good. However, I just want to say this. Made in the USA. Now, this is the one with imported yarns, but it's made in the USA. So Duluth, you know, I thought I'd give them a shot for the price. $9.97 for, I'm trying to think how many were in here. I think there were 3 pair in here. I've only got 2 pair right here because I'm using one of them. But for Made in the USA, I thought I'd give it a shot. These are 50% polyester, 44% nylon, 4% nanoglide, whatever the hell that is. It's a type of nylon, actually. And then 2% spandex. Okay, so they are for hot weather. They're to stay put. They're more durable than cotton. And that's one of the things about cotton. Like if you do, the Dickies have held up pretty good for me, but like I said, I've had some, like if you go to Walmart, get some cotton socks, they're going to fall apart on you, man. They're going to have holes everywhere. So if you get a more durable sock with more durable materials in it, you're going to be spending more, but you won't regret it. Next up, I've got a ton of stuff from Berne. These are crew socks once again. So most of my boot stuff is either Wrangler or Carhartt. So, but I needed some crew socks. And I've got more boot socks coming up here in a minute, so just hang on. I saved the best for last. These are 3 pairs at Berne. Berne had a screaming deal on these things. These are made in Pakistan. They're 73% polyester, 23% cotton, and 4% spandex. And they don't really, I mean, they say they're ventilated. They're not really a wicking sock per se. At least they don't make the claim to be. But they are affordable, and they do hold up pretty well. These are kind of a lightweight work sock, okay? They're performance socks, so yeah, I mean, if anything performance is in the title here, then that means they're supposed to be ventilating, maybe even wick sweating. I've used these a few times. They're okay. I mean, they're maybe not as good at keeping you cool like these Duluths are, but I don't wear these Duluths for work. I wear them to knock around, and if I'm doing like light work, really light work, then yeah, sure, I'll wear these. But these here are pretty durable, polyester, no wool, made in Pakistan. All right, now I said I'm going to save the best for last, right? Let's get them up here. All right. I'm going to save the really best one for last. There's, for Wrangler, a lot of Wrangler stuff, as I noted here, with the wool blend work socks. They're made in Pakistan. But they have a wick sweating boot sock that's thin, which I didn't have, right? I mean, I started out with my Carhartts. These are pretty thick, you know? The synthetic blend socks for the Carhartts are not necessarily, they're probably, these are midweights, as it says right there. They're thinner, but they're not lightweight. So I wanted some lightweight ultra-dries, something that keeps you dry and wick sweat. Wrangler. And they have a nice little, these are over the calf then. Nice little American flag on it. I got these for dirt cheap. Now, I want you to notice something here. Right there. See that? Wrangler has some stuff that's made in the USA. Kind of hard to believe. These are they wick sweat. They are 60% polyester, 37% nylon, 3% spandex. They're not wool. But for something lightweight, for the price I got them at, and believe me, it was very cheap. I can't remember what it is. For 2 pair, I picked these up. Now, don't despair, because Wrangler also has a boot sock in lightweight form that is made in the USA. You know, I've said it. I said it in one of my last videos. I've been pretty impressed with Wrangler, actually. I really like some of their rigs workwear for its affordability. But look, man, if you can go to Wrangler and get stuff made in the USA, yeah, sign me up, Buttercup. I'm going to take it, and I'm going to try it out. And it's really, you know what, kudos to Wrangler for fucking doing this, because so many people don't, you know? I mean, with Carhartt, you know, you really have to find where, you know, the type of sock that is made in the USA. And it's very, you know, they're sort of difficult to find. You know, they're heavyweight ones that I showed you in the beginning, made in the USA. But most of the stuff from Carhartt is not really, is not made in the USA. Wrangler will show it on their website. If you get on their website and you're looking for USA socks, you'll find them. They'll note it. So anyway, yeah, these are 65% merino wool, 28% nylon, 4% polyester, 3% spandex. For a lightweight summer boot sock, man, this is good. This is really good. Now, it's only 1 pair. It's going to be a little spendy. I think it's going to be somewhere around, what was it? Anywhere, somewhere between $15 and $19, I think. Now, that's cheap for this kind of sock, because if you go to the next one, which I have here, these are Rockies. I got Rockies when I got my really good boots that I got, which I'll show at some point. These were free, made in the USA, moisture wicking ultra-dry Rockies. These are a crew sock. I couldn't remember. These are a crew sock. They're 68% acrylics, 27% nylon, 5% spandex, and as you can see here, made in the USA. I've tried these a couple times. I have a couple of these Rockies. They're not bad. Made in, but you know, made in the USA, especially if I'm getting it for free, which I did in this case, then you know what? I'm totally happy. I got these with my Thorogoods, by the way. I got some Thorogood boots. I'll show it at some point. But anyway, these came with it, and I've been very pleased with them. Nice lightweight for summer. So I like these. They're not wool, though, but made in the USA, hell yeah, sign me up. Next, a lot of people probably know Muck. Muck Boot Company, they're the ones that make, especially, I think they got famous from wearing their tall, black boots that, some are steel-toed even, that you can wear in the slop, rain, you know, wet rubber boots type of thing. Well, I got some, and Muck sent me, made in the USA, their merino wool boot sock that came with it. These are 70% merino wool, 25% nylon, 5% spandex. As you can see here, merino wool is naturally moisture wicking and breathable. It also, they don't state it here, but it's not just that. Wool has microbials in it, which means, like, if you have anything that's polyester-ish, like any Sun Defender stuff, wick sweating t-shirts made out of polyester, they're going to stink up very quickly. Wool does not do that. Conceivably, you could get a shirt, work out in the hot sun all day long, sweat, hang it up to dry, go to it the next day, and it won't stink at all. You can put it on the next day without washing it. Polyester or some of those synthetic blends like that, they will reek. So you're going to have to put a new one on. You know what I'm saying? Last but not least, Carl Morawski, I love you, brother. I really love you for turning me on to Darn Tough. I'm sorry, folks. Darn Tough is the shit. And they are expensive. Considering all the other options I've shown here. A lot of these are sort of more affordable. Wait for the sales, you'll get them. Darn Tough is made in the USA. And I got a light pair of over-the-calf lightweight because I need more lightweight stuff. I have a ton of stuff that is thick. And so I needed more summer stuff. And so that's what I got. This is 53% nylon, but 42% merino wool and 5% lycra spandex. I'm telling you, if you can afford Darn Tough, you get these babies. These are over the calves, so I can use them for boots. And you know what? I have nothing bad to say. I've got a couple of pair of Darn Toughs. These are just the ones that I had handy. They're a summer lightweight sock, but I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to be getting more Darn Tough. And that's because of Carl, man. I mean, he's the one that turned me on to this. So, Carl, shout out to you. All right, that's pretty much my collection as far as it goes of workwear socks for the most part here. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got something out of it. Happy shopping. Hang loose. Okay, I've got an audience for this one. Look at this guy. He's like, what the hell are you doing? Well, what I'm doing is got a couple of things here on the socks. This is after I already shot most of the video on the wool socks that I'm posting. I'm tagging this on to the end. This is a few weeks later. My wife, said to me, she's never really had wool socks, but she loves wool. So what did I do? I went and found some. So these are Christmas presents, and this video probably will be up, if not just before Christmas, after Christmas, at which point she won't see this, really. So, first up, I got Carhartt, made in the USA. I just wanted her to try out some Midweight merino wool blend socks, and they are sitting here at 55% merino wool, 43% nylon, 2% elastane. We'll see, we'll see how she likes them. They're a crew, I believe they're a crew. Yes, they're a crew sock. I can't read. But then, look, the reason why I love Darn Tough, at least part of the reason why, is because of their lifetime warranty. So, as you know, we got a homestead going on. So I got our homesteady type socks. And these are crews, of course. Micro crew here. And our full crew here. But they're generally basically the same size. 53% nylon, 44% merino wool, 3% lycra. Okay, and then these are probably the same. 52% nylon, 45% merino wool. What was this one? 44. And then 3% lycra and spandex. Anyway, I got these for her because of that. Because I wanted her to experience the Darn Tough experience. And look, they're more expensive, but they had a holiday special running. I snapped them up. I think there was a holiday special on these too, so that's why I got them. I usually don't buy anything that's not on sale. So I got her some Carhartts just so she can figure out which ones she likes best. And which ones I like best. I mean, overall, they all do a great job for me. Whether it's Wrangler's wool, whether it's Carhartt's wool blends. But I have to say, my favorites have been the Rockies and Darn Tough by sure. Above board. I mean, there's nothing better than Darn Tough. So when I bought these, I had a chance to get a good boot sock here. And this boot sock here, what I kind of got here on a kind of a sweet deal from Darn Tough. So they are 56% merino wool, 41% nylon, 3% lycra spandex. And this is sort of my Christmas gift to myself. So yeah, I mean, I can't say enough about Darn Tough. I mean, really, seriously, save up and get them. Just get a pair if you can, and I think you'll fall in love with them too. Not saying that the Made in USA stuff from Carhartt is bad, just that I don't know. There's just something about Darn Tough that that really works. And especially since they're all in-house, in Vermont, lifetime warranty. I mean, you can send these in and they'll replace them. So, I mean, you can't find stuff like that anymore. Remember when Crafts and Tools used to do that stuff? I mean, I still kind of do that, but it used to be really easy to find them and whatnot. I mean, you send these in the Darn Tough if you ruin them somehow, legitimately, and they'll replace them. I mean, you can't beat it. So, anyway, this is my little addendum here to the wool sock video. So anyway, if this is after Christmas that I post this, happy holidays. And if it's before Christmas, happy holidays. Yeah? Hang loose.
Well, back to chorin'.